As the WE scandal continues to unfold, we learn of more Liberal connections to this dubious charity. WE was contracted to do a Canada Day event on Parliament Hill for $1.18 million, which Justin Trudeau's mother was speaking. We do not know for sure if she was paid for this particular event, but we know that she was paid more than $300,000 to speak at some 25 WE events. This has now prompted 4 investigations: 2 parliamentary committee investigations, finance and government operations, and the ethics commissioner investigations into both the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister. We also learned, courtesy of the Rebel News, that Canada's Chief Health Officer, Dr. Theresa Tam, contracted with WE in 2019 for some unspecified services, also in some sort of sole-sourced deal. We learned, courtesy of the deep digging of the Toronto Sun's Brian Lilly, that the WE charity is not a standalone entity. In fact, it is closely associated to Me to We Asset Holdings, Me to We Foundation, and Imagine One Day International Holdings. The owners, Craig and Mark Kielburger, have real estate holdings of more than $43 million in downtown Toronto. Lilly referred to all of this as Kielburger Incorporated. This is hardly your run-of-the-mill charity, and the Prime Minister has been closely associated to them since at least 2008. For the Liberal government to try to give them a sole-sourced contract for $912 million for some nebulous youth volunteering service is beyond the pale. Of that, there was a management fee alone of some $20 million to perform a service that Service Canada has been overseeing for a number of years through their summer jobs program. Quite apart from anything else, the math in all of this simply doesn't add up. The program was announced to provide as much as $5,000 to 30,000 students who had put in a certain number of hours volunteering. So let's do the math. If we assume they got all 30,000 students involved and all completed the requisite hours and each earned that $5,000, that translates to $150 million. Add in the $20 million management fee, that still leaves unexplained the remaining $761,980,000. What was that money supposed to be used for? This all stinks to the high heavens. It stinks even worse when we consider the Kielburgers said after the contract was announced that the Prime Minister had called them directly to tell them about it. That was quickly walked back when Trudeau said, "Oh no, it was a cabinet decision." Then we learned that after the contract fell apart, we laid off 450 people, ostensibly hired to work on the program. This means that they had spent weeks in a recruiting drive in advance of the contract award. Why would they do that if they had not had a heads up from the PMO? The simple answer is they would not. So the fix was in, and the result was preordained by the PMO. Hardly a cabinet decision at all, despite what we were told. Canadians have not been told the truth in any of this, and the Prime Minister needs to be held accountable for it. An apology for not recusing himself from the cabinet table is simply not sufficient. It screams out for a full and complete investigation by the RCMP. Remember, we are talking about nearly $1 billion of taxpayer money being steered to Liberal friends and insiders. For True North, I'm Leo Knight.